Hello everybody and welcome to this Actor Thomas video with me, of course, Actor Thomas. Now today we are going to be talking about Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them and its sequel, Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. Now, where to begin? I know where to begin. Right here. Now, Newt Scamander. What's he all about then? Okay, right, so, going back to Harry Potter. Now, we have, I believe, a total of maybe 2, potentially 3 mentions of Newt Scamander in the original Harry Potter series from the books. One being either, I think it's either the first book or the second book, where he gets his book list and it's there for one of his lessons. I believe it's actually probably the first one, the Philosopher's Stone. And then the second one is in the last book, which is the Deathly Hallows, when you discover that Albus Dumbledore and him used to send owls to one another, discussing the relevant magical creatures and other information from the times. Now, so they are that. Then around, I want to say around 2003-2004, J.K. Rowling wrote 2 miniature books for, I think it was like kind of Red Nose Day or something. I could be completely wrong about that, but anyway. And it is one was Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by Newt Scamander, and then the other one was what's the one about Quidditch? Quidditch Through the Ages. And then throughout it's basically about 12 or 13 pages, and it's occasionally you just see that's all written out in black ink. And then occasionally you see in blue ink notes written by Harry or Ron, as if these were like their textbooks, or they got out of the library or anything like that. Anyway, going on, and J.K. Rowling wrote the entirety of Magical Beasts and Where to Find Them, and then released it onto Pottermore, which is obviously her website to carry on and further the story and the world of Harry Potter. And that was brilliant, of course it is. And then, obviously, once Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them came out, and we discovered that Eddie Redmayne was going to be performing it as that character, for Pottermore, they released, he did the audio of that, and he did the whole, I think it's roughly around 2 hours. I listened to about an hour of it online. It's quite, obviously, if you're interested in finding out about these magical creatures, then go on, watch it. It's a great laugh. It's brilliant. I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, going back to the point that I'm trying to make here. Now, you have a character that is, of course, mentioned once or twice in the original series, never actually mentioned at all in the films. He's not actually, never mentioned at all. I don't even think he's mentioned in Deathly Hallows, actually. I don't think he is. Anyway, back to the point of this video. I watched Fantastic Beasts and Where to Watch Them again last night, because I thought, I watched it because I didn't watch it originally when it came out in the cinema, and loads of my people said, oh, you should watch it, it's brilliant, I thought, oh, I don't know, not that interested, not a massive fan of Eddie Redmayne, all that sort of stuff. But anyway, so I finally watched it just before The Crimes of Grindelwald came out. And I thought, oh, that's decent enough. And then I went to watch it at The Crimes of Grindelwald in cinema as well. And I thought, that's okay as well. Anyway, my point is this. Eddie Redmayne, like I said, I wasn't a big fan of. But between finding out that he was playing this character and going to actually buy the DVD and watch it, obviously, I did watch other things that he did. He did that Stephen Hawking's film that he did. I think that's called About Life or something like that. What's it called? Yeah, that one. And then The Danish Girl, which was a superb film. And those 2 films there really actually made me reevaluate him as an actor. Because before that, I didn't think he was very good. I thought it was very one-dimensional. And I don't think he could only really act one way. But he completely blew me away with his performances of those two films. So I take my hat off to him. Good on him. Well done. So he changed my opinion of him when I got to see the films. And obviously there is a bit of acting involved there. Of course, he is quite good in that character. The only problem is, I don't understand why it's being told. I don't like. The best way to describe this, for me, to probably try and get this across to you, is this. The original films, so the original Harry Potter films were, of course, based upon the original Harry Potter books. So you have 7 books. Out of those 7 books, they have created 8 films. Now, obviously, that has been very successful. But people can, and I've done this myself, I have distanced myself from the film series, from the book series to the film series. So I can very easily read the books, and I don't now imagine the people who play them in the films are those characters in the books. I can still now imagine myself thinking of my own imagination, using the descriptions that are in the books of each character and seeing them as they're described, not the actors who play them in the films. Okay? But because we now are, and this is sort of the only problem, when you've got something like a series that was very successful both as book and films, and you know, I can't take this away from anyone, they were incredibly successful films and books. The Harry Potter series on both of those fronts have been incredibly successful. So really, really well done to J.K. Rowling for writing stories that have been so universally regarded and respected. So well done. But the only problem I have now is this. Whatever happens, if you see this here, this is obviously the original screenplay of J.K. Rowling's Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Now, if obviously I've read many film scripts. I've got obviously the original books of the Harry Potter films. I've also got the films, but I've also got myself copies of the scripts, okay, of those films. Now, I can, in my head, even now, can still, you know, kind of, when reading the plays, or reading the scripts, sorry, of the films, I can, very similar to the books, I can take my mind away from those actors. So I can take my mind away from Rupert Grint, Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, Michael Gambon, Maggie Smith, Robbie Coltrane, all of these people. I can take my mind, I can remove them from my mind and still imagine what they're like in the books, and project those images onto the script. Even though I know for a fact I can watch those films and have the script open in front of me and be like, oh yes, blah 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 blah, but I can see it in my mind. I can see it as the characters, and on the screen I can see it as those actors, which is fine. Now, obviously, that is purely down to the fact that and this is just a little bit of, so you know, I actually watched the first 2 films of Harry Potter before I read any of the books. So, anyone who says, oh, blah 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 blah, you didn't because you read the book first, I didn't. I watched the first 2 films first, so I spent 2 films watching these actors perform those characters, and so I'm still able to, maybe it's because I've got a very vivid imagination that I'm able to do this. But anyway, now I've watched the film, and I've now got the script. But, and this may simply down to that because obviously there's no descriptions or anything like that in this play, in the script, sorry. But, and maybe even simply down to the fact that there's nothing in the anything in the original text from the books. But I myself I can't see, using my vivid imagination, anyone else in those characters. Like, I can have a go, and most of the time it's usually sort of some very similar, which obviously is either a good thing or a bad thing, because if it's a good thing, obviously it would just mean the actors that they chose are superb for these parts, and that may be true, and if it is, well done. But for me, I like to be able to distance the film and the original and the script and the dialogue and all that sort of stuff. So that's why I like it. Anyway, but going back to what I'm trying to say, they are decent films. They are. There's nothing wrong with them. The only problem is, are they good Harry Potter prequels? Now, I know I'm probably going to get a bit of hate for this, but I myself do not think the Harry Potter films are particularly great. Not as Harry... They're good films, I'll give you that, they are good films, but they're not very good adaptations of the books, in my opinion. I'll still watch them, I've got them all on DVD and everything like that, and I enjoy them. But if you put them side by side to the books, I don't think they're very good. Like, that's just me. Now, if you that's why I was a bit concerned about watching Crimes of Grindelwald and Fantastic Beasts originally, because I thought, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this, and I don't want it to mar my interest in the original films, which it didn't, fortunately enough. So I'm pleased about. Now, one thing someone did say to me, which has helped me quite a bit, is this: don't think of these characters as characters that influence the original films. So obviously the main thing to remember is obviously Grindelwald and Dumbledore. Do not think of these two people as the characters that you know or you think you know from the original series. And that did help. That was very helpful for me, and it made things a lot easier for me. So, but it's just kind of like the whole thing is just very kind of, everyone's different. Everyone's got their own opinion, of course they do, and I fully respect that, of course I do. But in my opinion, I still don't know why these films have been made. It's not as if no one out there was really crying out for a Fantastic Beasts film or a film about the rise of Gellert Grindelwald. No one was. And obviously you sort of have to wonder, if no one was really out there crying for this and really wanting it, why was it made? Because in many ways it's the same old story of good and evil, and in the end the two of them will meet and one will come out the victor and the other one will come out the loser. And you sort of have to wonder, are they only just this story is known throughout the history of the world, and is it just they thought we can tell a new slant on this story by introducing wizardry? I think that, and obviously that probably is just me being very sceptical and everything like that, and I think watching the films, like I say, if I didn't know they had anything to do with Harry Potter and those films, I would not know. If you didn't have Harry, kind of like written by J.K. Rowling or involved in with J.K. and all that sort of stuff, and a part of the Harry Potter world, I wouldn't know. And that's what I don't understand. It was the fact that the original series was very much set in England. It was a very English story. It's very much like that. And now obviously it's decided to go all over the place. Obviously you've got America, you've got France, you've got all these different places, and you think, okay, that's fine, but you have to sort of wonder what's going on here. And so anyway, look, that's just I just thought I'd voice my opinion. Obviously, people have completely different opinions from me, and I fully respect that, and I'm pleased that people do. The only other thing I would probably say is, I haven't watched this, but the play, because I've already also got the script for this as well, which is the play of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Now, I haven't watched it live on stage or anything like that, but I've read the play, and it sounds it sounds bad for me to say this, but I can't, in my head, put my so what I was saying to you earlier on about when I read the books, I can either have in my head the descriptions of the characters and have that in my head as those characters doing that story, or I can have the actors in mind who are in the films. But when I read, because I've read it about 3 or 4 times now, but every time I read The Cursed Child, I can only see the actors from the film, so I can only see a grown-up, mature Daniel Radcliffe, a grown-up, mature Rupert Grint, a grown-up Emma Watson. And obviously when they start doing the whole going back in time and all that sort of stuff, it's going back to the way they looked in those films as well. And that's, of course, that's very interesting, of course it is. But obviously it's that sort of thing of, are these all just being put on into this world because they know it's already a very successful universe and very successful story that they can either latch onto, or they can bring a new angle into this? And obviously it's very interesting and all that sort of stuff, and I'm very curious to hear people's opinions on this, of course I am. But I think now, like J.K. Rowling herself has said that she would never do another Harry Potter story, or another proper Harry Potter story. So you think, if you've already said you're not going to do another Harry Potter story, why are we now being introduced to characters that A, will never interact with the main characters of the original series, and also are only really being brought in to build on a universe that is already massively successful, and if you oversaturate something, it's only going to make it weaker, in my opinion. Anyway, like I say, thank you very much. I hope if you agree or disagree, please leave a comment, leave a subscribe or a like or anything down below. I would love to hear people's opinions. If you completely disagree or completely agree with me, or if you're somewhere in the middle, I would be really interested in hearing people's opinion on this, because it's what I've voiced here is just my own opinion. I think it's an interesting sort of story video that I've created here, just because I enjoy the films, I enjoy the books, I enjoy all of it, but you sort of have to wonder, or it may just be me that I'm being very much. You have to wonder what, kind of, it's just becoming a little bit more, just a bit too much sort of world, or international now, instead of it being very much a very British story, a very individual story, instead of now it being a story that basically bounces all over the world. Anyway, like I say, if you would like to, please leave a comment, a like or a subscribe. If you want, please come back next week. I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. And I hope, like I do at the end of each and every one of my videos, I shall give you a little salute and say goodbye. Goodbye.